Honorable sisters, brothers, and friends, uh, the good Lord said, if you speak the truth, uh, you don't really need to worry about expressing what you are then putting forth. So, without any notes, um, I put forth the absolute blunt, and it is important truth, and that is gang, gang, they say a social class clique in the U.S.A. have now hopelessly, and if you forget, they'll force you to realize 24/7 that they are criminally insane, immoral, criminally insane hoovers. A shadowy government in which they're uh, actually taken over authority is what the U.S.A. is, and with a system of printing paper money, they could use this paper money having a mouthpiece who is maybe considered the lesser of two candidates. They actually say the lesser of two evils. These are not my words, that's what they say. It's just like I didn't put forth this where you say that politicians in the U.S. were voted the least trustworthy of any profession. Like I say, I don't write these jokes. This is what the people actually sort of voted. And all they say is they dirty politics. That where it's really in the discipline of political science, if you please. But no, it's dirty politics. It's immoral, criminally insane, a hooveress, and a shadow government. Well, how can they control individuals and the people? Well, they do what they want to. Don't they disregard the laws of God, humanity, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, civil rights? What they so I am forced, in fact, they forced the people to really maybe complain because they figure, well, this way the people say, look, we give you freedom, you can complain. Yeah, but they do that so that they can say that these people have freedom here in the USA, but no, constantly more and more being spied upon. They who and every one log, keep track of who they want, who they decide that maybe they should experiment on and kill or whatever. How can you say figure, hey, they've got the power, the inside shadowy government. Well, what about the elected officials? That went out way back when somebody, may have been me, I'm going to have to be truthful, say I like Ike, because there was a war in Korea, and many of our most patriotic men were being killed, and on both sides. And I was of the opinion, well, maybe we should get a retired, respected military man to go there and say, look, we're going to talk peace 24/7 until it comes to the point where no, it's going to be all out war. So it dawned on, I guess, those in conference that was to have an actual peace. But it wasn't a peace, it was a sort of armistice. And the U.S. says, no, we're still at war with North Korea. You think about that. All these years, the U.S. is always at war with somebody. Well, yeah, no, they're still at war with North Korea. Every year, sometimes last year, it was their friend. This year, it's their enemy. And they're doing that especially now in the Middle East, where at the same time, they will say that in this area, they are supporting an elected government. And in this area, they're supporting those that they say are terrorists. At the same time, that in one area, they're supporting somebody to fight a terrorist. At the same time, they're supporting a terrorist to fight somebody that they want to fight. Within, I think, sometimes miles or hundreds of miles from in the same area. Yeah, like I said, I don't write these jokes. And what can this man put forward? They are hopelessly immoral, criminally insane Hoovers. This is what they are, and they're going to be that way until this dollar dominance that they have forced on the world collapses. Until peoples of the world say, why do we need to have their paper money in order to do something? It's supposed to be a modern electronic age that the U.S. electronically tries to survey everybody, people, whoever everybody is, and they try to then have this as their way of operating. If you sign an agreement, you don't carry hundreds of pounds of gold in your hand as you sign the agreement. You take it on the word, the honesty, the word that this is a mutually sound and sensible trade. Now, it is only sound and sensible that all Europe functions with sound, sensible trade. But the shadowy government across an ocean, 1,000 miles away, they want loose cannons to put forward where they can, back in the 18th century, where they took and gradually took over from the Indians, what's now the U.S.A. They look at the fact that is the King George, Queen Hoover, not democracy, hypocrisy that rules, and his shadowy government. Well, I think, study the discipline of theology. In my opinion, is man's greatest challenge. how did we get here? Why are we here? What best to do? And in the discipline of political science, if you please, and international relations, this system of dollar dominance has to be replaced. There is gradually, there's BRICS, and then bilateral trade. But overall, it has to be done electronically, where my word is I put forward in this tip-tap gadgetry and say, yeah, this is recorded, it's faster, and it's, in my opinion, a sound, sensible way of not having this dollar dominance. And then if I have, well, an important thing right now, but in centuries to come it won't be, is petroleum. Okay? So if I have petroleum and you need some petroleum, yeah, all right, I sell you the petroleum, and it's done on the word, on the word that you keep your word. And then if I need, we'll say, 100 planes, 100 fighter defensive planes. You say, well, come on. Well, that's the way the world is. If you do not have an atomic bomb, the U.S. is constantly at war with a country that doesn't have an atomic bomb. And the Zionists have weapons of mass destruction, of course, like the U.S., but they don't want anyone else in that, especially in their area, to have an atomic weapon or weapon of mass destruction. Yet they won't sign any agreement about the use of a nuclear weapon. And the U.S. vetoes every time the UN tries to bring this loose cannon in with the rest of the world and say, look, well, almost all the world is saying this is how we should function. Well, no, they're going to do it, function their Zionist way. I don't write these jokes. This is the true facts. This is what it is. I mean, the U.S. has vetoed almost every time. The country that's been condemned the most in the history of the UN is Zionist Israel. Yet the U.S. vetoes, and they keep right on promoting wars with this shadow government. And these are what the facts are, and the good Lord said, don't hide the truth under a bushel. Bushel basket. Don't hide the light, the lamp of truth under a bushel basket. Bring forth the light and the truth, and therefore I bring forth the truth that this government practices social masturbation. That's what it is. They operate on, they have this fantasy that they're better than any of the other countries, and they're going to be where that's the way it's going to be. They're fantasizing they are for all time going to dominate, and they practice social masturbation. They play with themselves, and that's the way it is. And this is my 24/7 Wednesday, and I say to all the believers, thank you.